We've got some news to get you started with on this hour. Jake Odorizzi has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Houston Astros. It also includes a player option for a 3rd season. This deal may have been an even bigger one for the Astros in light of the injury to Framber Valdez earlier in the week. Okay, we discussed this possibility, Odorizzi to the Astros, but then you detailed the obstacles that the Astros would have to face in order to make this work. Now, what do we know about what Odorizzi is making salary-wise?
We don't know.
Okay.
And this is the key question, Robert. As you mentioned, 2 years with a player option. Now, the issue for the Astros is the luxury tax threshold. Seemingly this offseason, they have wanted to stay below it. And you'll see right here. Here's where they are without Odorizzi. $200.7 million, and that is within $10 million of the first threshold. So you might say, well, just pay Jake Odorizzi $9 million. It's not that simple, because you usually want to leave about $5 million at the deadline. So I don't know how they're doing this, because if they go over, there are some penalties that go beyond financial. And I explained this the other day, and I'll explain it again. You go over, and you make a qualifying offer to Correa, and you lose Correa at the end of the season. We're playing a hypothetical game, I know.
Yeah.
You get a pick after the 4th round.
Okay.
If then you sign, say, Trevor Story, who gets a qualifying offer, you lose your 2nd and 5th highest picks and $1 million from the international bonus pool. Now, if you stay under, it's a lot less onerous. You get a pick after comp round B, which is really the 2nd round. It's in the 75 to 80 range, as opposed to, say, 130, 140 if you're over. And then if you sign a qualifying offer player, you lose your 2nd highest pick, not your 2nd and 5th highest, and only $500,000 instead of $1 million in the bonus pool. Now, for the Astros, this stuff matters more than it does for most teams. Why? Because of the penalties they incurred for the sign-stealing scandal.
That's a good point.
Lost their 1st and 2nd picks in 2020 and 21. So I understand that they might get creative with this contract, and sure, they can structure it however they want, but remember, luxury tax payroll is based upon average annual value of players' contracts. So you can't pay Jake Odorizzi $3 million this year, $12 million next year, $15 million the year after, and say, hey, we're under. No, it's the average of those three. So we are awaiting the terms right now as we speak, and I am really intrigued to see how this works. Now, keep in mind, Roflo, it's what the number is at the end of the season that matters.
That's a good point.
If, for instance, they go over a little bit with Odorizzi, they can do some other things as the season progresses. A guy like Aledmys Diaz making $3 million is someone perhaps you could subtract. You can do some other things maybe to get under, but they are right up against it, and I cannot see how this deal does not put them, if not over, then certainly within striking distance of being really close to being over.
Yeah, real quick, from just strictly baseball terms, what does Odorizzi bring to the Astros?
A lot. And granted, Framber Valdez was a really good pitcher, especially toward the end of last season. You didn't want to lose him, but with Greinke and Odorizzi and some of the younger pitchers they have, along with McCullers, then the rotation becomes almost as competitive as before. Remember, they once had Justin Verlander, Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have to see what the numbers look like for the Astros and for Jake Odorizzi.